So there's a new book out by Mark Halperin and John Heilemann. They had written a book about the 2008 campaign. This is about 2012 campaign. It's called Double Down, Game Change 2012. It's got a lot of revelations that people are talking about. The one that struck me as the most important is President Obama's line. Apparently he told his aides that he's now, quote, really good at killing people. Now that's in reference to the drone program. That's a little disturbing, given that that's not true in a couple of different ways. It's disturbing if it was true and he bragged about it. It's also disturbing for why it's not true, which I'll get to in a second. But now, did he really say it? Can you really take these guys as face value? Look, Mark Halperin is an establishment hack extraordinaire. So if you take what he says with a grain of salt, I hear you, brother, right? But look at the non-denial that the White House puts out. Dan Pfeiffer says on ABC's This Week, the president is always frustrated about leaks. I haven't talked to him about this book. I haven't read it. He hasn't read it, but he hates leaks. In other words, there's no denial whatsoever that the president said that. He's just saying, we don't like it when you leak that he said that. Why don't they like that? Well, of course, he seems incredibly callous, because the reality is he is incredibly callous about how drone strikes have been used. Now, let me show you what they've actually done. The Bureau of Investigative Journalism has noted this is just in Pakistan. There's also drone strikes in Yemen, but this is the best they could do in counting in this area. They have killed between 2,528 people to 3,648. Now, among those, and this is a very conservative estimate because you've got to prove after they have been killed that they were civilians. Otherwise, the military and the United States government considers them by definition, if they're military-age males, which is almost all adult males, to be terrorists unless proven otherwise. So in that conservative estimate, 416 to 948 civilians killed. Now, if you're really good at killing people, did you mean to kill those civilians? Or maybe your statement isn't very good or very true. You're not very good at killing people. You often kill civilians. But the reality is, no matter how you take that statement, its core and why the White House is mad about it is the most important thing, which is this indifferent attitude towards killing these people. Now, if you have an indifferent attitude towards killing Osama bin Laden, I think a lot of people might understand that. But when you have anywhere between 400 and 900 civilians at least killed, including a grandmother that we showed on her family on the program last week, came in for hearings in D.C., her family did, blown to smithereens. Her grandson saw it with his own eyes, along with 18 other civilians. Oops, we killed them. So are you really good at killing people? Maybe you think, yeah, I am. I kill these people all the time. I don't give a damn if they're civilians or not, but I'm good at killing them. Well, that is not a pretty thing to brag about. And if you remember, President Obama had said in a May speech at the National Defense University, when he talked about how he's going to actually scale down the program, he said, let us remember that the terrorists we are after target civilians, and the death toll from their acts of terrorism against Muslims dwarfs any estimate of civilian casualties from drone strikes. You know what that sounds like to me? Sounds like a third grader telling his mom, they did it first! And they do it worse than I do. Did you know I'm really good at it, though? Well, that's exactly what we're afraid of.